Red 2 standing by, all 4 lit and in the green. Welcome back to Donkey Kong 64. The adventure continues as we head out to the 5th level, and we'll have, hopefully, some interesting topics to talk about because we're going into a forest level, and that gives me the chance to talk about nature, especially since there's a lot to talk about given where I come from. I am from Australia, as has probably been made clear several times. Is there anything behind this? Surprisingly solid sprite-based tree. Just some camera film, but we can of course use some of that along the way. So, nature in Australia has quite the reputation. It's, let's be honest, not great. This is generally regarded as a spider-infested snake pit full of things that will try and kill you. I mean, if we're being incredibly pedantic, it's true, but there's also a lot more to Australia than that. Let me just make sure I've pressed the right button to get my gun out. And look for our targets in the rafters. There is the switch we're after. We can't do anything about that mushroom up there for quite some time. Probably need to head down towards the wrinkly switches and try and get that banana fairy that way. It's a good top-up. And turn around. This one moves very quickly, so we'll have to be very, very careful. Now, where is it? It's right above my head, isn't it? Right where I can't move the camera. Whoop, that didn't work. And it always stays still when you're Whoop. Saw it, went to press it. Whoever said the hand is quicker than the eye was fibbing. Where have we gone? It's gonna stay still eventually. Ah! Just moved. Yeah, this one's kind of tough to get. Oh, there it is. I thought I despawned it somehow. Oh, come on, patience. Get it. Oh, this one definitely takes a while, and I sort of have to concentrate, which... Nope. 8 shots left. It does sort of despawn a bit because it travels a bit further away from us. Who gave the banana fairy red cordial? Anyhow, nature in Australia, as I've said, fairly rough reputation at times, but it has a lot of beauty to it. There are many native species endemic to Australia, ones that don't really appear anywhere else. It's quite impressive in all honesty. It's still sticking around that far end of the room, so I'll have to rearrange myself, I think. About here, and... we lose it as it hangs above. Oh, come on! Even Professor Oak would have given me that one.
You were close.
The laughter does not help. Ugh. Wish there was a slightly less finicky way of moving it. There's still oh, that was probably my best chance. Ah, oh, nope. Just off. I reckon it must have taken off just as I hit the button. Thank heavens. Anyway, nature in Australia, many interesting species are endemic to this wonderful country. We actually have quite a variety of unique species, even if quite a lot of them are dangerous along the way. Quite a few of them actually are pretty friendly. We'll get to that once we've done our intro cutscene.
Time to see what those furry freaks are up to. Huh? Not a cog in sight. Where are they? Who was that?
Yahoo! Come up here and get me, dummies! You! Get up there after him! But I can't climb! Then you'll learn, won't you? Goodbye!
I'm surrounded by fools!
Welcome to our forest level. Fungi Forest, which according to some sources was originally based on a level that was supposed to be in Banjo-Kazooie called Fungus Forest. Whatever it is, we have it in this game and it can be quite the adventure to get through it. It's fairly large. We have this central clock, which winds up changing the time between night and day, which is actually important for a few gold bananas along the way, and we will have to do quite a lot of work in that regard. It's a bit bothersome, but all things considered, we can get away with it okay. It's not exactly the most horrible. The mushrooms we have, we can actually climb up those too. We'll need different kongs to open up the doors that get us out of this area. Is there something up here? But yes, getting through my curiosity because I am unfortunately a little bit rusty. Back to forests in Australia. Largely forests of eucalyptus trees and other kinds. They are, well, generally just referred to as the bush in all fairness, because there's a number of rather rough, scrubby plants along the way, as well as the various eucalypt trees and other different species along the way. Interesting to note that some species of ferns up in the Australian rainforests, which is around Queensland, parts of the Northern Territory and the like, are pretty much living fossils. That's basically how interesting Australia's wildlife and nature can be. The whole thing is pretty much a fossil sometimes. The soil is pretty much a fossil because in many places it has been left undisturbed for years and years. It's pretty impressive. We have so many interesting creatures, interesting animals, just all these things that will make you wonder what sort of things roamed here, what sort of things could be roaming here. There's a lot to see, honestly. The fact that we have so many amazing and interesting species of both plant life and animal life really means that a lot of work should be done protecting Australia. Now, in all fairness, we do have a very large proportion of dangerous animals. Some of the deadliest snakes in the world, for one thing. And that's not exactly fun for a lot of people. We have plenty of fairly large and dangerous spiders along the way as well. Not going to win any friends in all fairness. Lots of people, you don't like spiders, you don't come here, basically. Mind you, most of the time, as is the case with most dangerous animals, they generally will wind up leaving you alone, but you can pretty much find something that's potentially dangerous all over the place. For example, when it comes to the TV tropes everything trying to kill you page, I thought I got that. There is a much larger section for real life Australia than real-life rest of the world. It's pretty much how bad this place is when it comes to things that are going to make you feel very, very bad and then kill you. It's interesting to note that they'll be just about anywhere. Dad told a story about going to the beach on holiday and being extremely curious as to why this octopus he'd found and picked up on his spade had wound up with this really interesting blue coloration. He'd found a blue-ringed octopus, and those things are nasty. Excuse me, stupid tomatoes. Let's find our hunky chunky barrel, which is right over here by Funky's. We can talk to Funky a bit later on, but I'm going to take out the killer tomatoes with Hunky Chunky because we can get a couple of chunky bananas first up. So yeah, even just snakes will just appear. Dangerous snakes can appear pretty much anywhere. Like, if you've got any sort of bushland, you can find dangerous snakes. Dangerous spiders will be all over the place. Oh good, I just have to jump on them. Alright, so basically we have to take out those tomatoes and pick these up. And carry our apple, complete with attendant worm, all the way through here. Making sure to watch out for the zinger and don't throw the apple either. Press Z to set it down on this convenient spot. And there we go. 1 gold banana for Chunky already. Assuming we work out where it's going with the camera. Still a bit of trouble in all fairness, and we get a nice shot of Chunky's chin. Very interesting, but there we are. We've established the number 2 warp. We can head out to Funky's for that one. Check if there are any more bananas for Chunky around here. Now that we've taken care of the killer tomatoes, not a lot, but there should be some bananas for Tiny out here. Anything up the mushrooms, nearly said trees. Yep, we'll have to grab some things for Tiny, but really we have so many interesting animals as well as so many interesting plants. I mean, you might not necessarily think that plants are interesting off the top of your head, but like I said, we have those amazing species of ferns that are ridiculously old, have not needed to change, in much the same way that the coelacanth has not actually needed to change. If you're not entirely sure what a coelacanth is, Relicanth from the Pokemon games, that's a coelacanth. Fairly rare, believed to be extinct, but wound up actually being very much alive. We have a lot of great rainforests, which unfortunately do wind up coming under a bit of danger at times. We really don't take as much care of our beautiful environment as we should in Australia, if I'm going to be honest. But that is best left for more serious discussions. We have a lot to celebrate besides just really, really poisonous things. I've often joked that a Pokemon region based on Australia would be pretty much all fire types and poison types because, unfortunately, eucalyptus oil tends to be fairly flammable. Bit of a bother, which is putting it lightly. Gum trees can pretty much explode when it comes time to fire season. You have to be very careful. They're extremely flammable, but eucalyptus oil is, on the bright side, very good for clearing your sinuses. So make sure you have some responsible maintenance of your eucalypt crops, and you should do all right. Just, excuse me a little tick, gotta fix something, and then we'll pop into Funky's.
Yo, Tiny! Hit me with 5 coins and I'll upgrade your shooter. Give me the word, huh?
Homing ammunition.
Listen to this, Tiny. All the Kong shooters now pack homing shots. Collect some red supply crates and start blasting. Zero doing right now, but you're always welcome, little sis.
So we can only get homing ammunition from the red supply crates. Worth noting though, that we can wind up getting infinite homing ammo when we use the cheats in the mystery section. It's pretty handy, all things considered, as you might expect, but there are some times where you actually want normal shots. So, use it wisely. Mostly the game will give you homing ammunition when needed. So here we are, we can do a bit more with Chunky. We'll have to potter over to that mushroom-style well. Over this way will get us a couple more bananas. But yeah, besides there are all the obvious interesting animals like kangaroos and koalas and the like. But then you've got things like the quokkas at Rot Nest Island, which is literally Dutch for rat's nest because they thought they looked like rats. You've got bilbies, you've got bandicoots, you've got sugar gliders, you've got the monotremes, the only egg-laying... There are 2 egg-laying mammals in the entire world, the platypus and the echidna, and those 2 monotremes are unique to Australia. As a matter of fact, people thought the platypus was a hoax when a specimen was presented in Britain. We also have a minecart challenge. Interestingly, Chunky is the only character who will mug for the camera during this. Everyone else will be focused, but Chunky, as you can see just there, will turn around and wave to the camera. Nice jump. Watch out for the bell-activated gate. So, a bit of caution. Does not go astray. And immediately I hit an obstacle I didn't see. So, we'll have a bit of careful planning to do, and we'll have to watch out for those rocks. A little bit fast. Pull. Lean right into it. And you've got a chasing TNT barrel on top of that. Probably haven't got a good start in all fairness. It can be, this one can be a bit fiddly. Now let's see. Ah! Don't hit those red bells because it's just like the minecart. I'm gonna have to restart this. This is already off to a bad run. I probably lost too many coins right off at the start. This is where I'm gonna get a bit rusty. But yeah, a lot to appreciate when it comes to nature in Australia. There's an amazing variety. We do have many beautiful plants. We've got the likes of the golden wattle, which is our national floral emblem. There we are. We took care of that guy. And as I said, there are many, many varieties of eucalypts, many great flowers, which actually gives us a really good variety of honey. We do actually get some pretty good varieties of honeys. Yellow box honey is really, really good. We automatically jump over this one. Instead of half trying to talk about the interesting nature in Australia, because I'm really, really not good with my plants. Where did that come from? Just random TNT. Alright, move carefully. I think I'm gonna really have to put some focus on this one. Alright, that's good. More cutscenes. Made it past the teeth. Somehow we wind up staying on the track, despite the fact physics means that we really should be thrown off. A lot of it is just sort of learning where you go. What did I need to do? Damn it, I needed to lean. I needed to lean one way. Oh, you've got to be joking! $49 bloody coins. That sucks. But yeah, so we do have a very good variety of interesting plants. As I've said, I don't really know that much about them because gardening is not a speciality of mine. I do know that there are certain things like like Sturt's Desert Rose and Sturt's Desert Pea. One of them's the floral emblem for South Australia. One of them's the floral emblem for the Northern Territory. Did I get hit in the cutscene? That's not fair. But yet, both of those are named after the explorer Charles Sturt. Looks like I'm just going to have to take that hit. Oh, that's rough. This one might take a few tries. It's a bit of a mishmash of commentary in all fairness, so I can probably stop trying to talk about the plants because I don't have any idea about the plants. And my attempts to jump the thing. Please lean, Chunky. That's gone badly. That one's gone badly. I'm probably going to have to focus, and I'll talk to you later. Oh, you've got to be joking for a second time. Thank heavens. Oh, that one kind of sucks because there's so little margin for error. Compared to that one, the next is an absolute breeze. But yeah, much as I'd like to talk about all the interesting animals, all the interesting plants, I really know nothing about plants. We've wound up in a completely new area as well. How did I wind up in first person? I thought I pressed the R button. We're still getting bombed by bees, or wasps. Sorry, there is a difference. Future me's gonna yell at me again. Probably justifiably. Where is that zinger? There we are. So, this is the mill area, but trying to get back to what I was talking about with our animals, probably easiest to talk about those, which I have done a bit. Suppose we've got wombats as well, but depending on where you are, you can actually find quite a lot of interesting animals around your house. You'll find a few snakes along the way, which is, of course, fairly dangerous to have to deal with. Nobody really wants to be troubled by those. But you probably will find a few of those if you've got any sort of bushland along the way. Demonstration of homing ammunition. Unfortunately, the zingers are often a little too fast to hit, but there we are. We need this to open things up for Tiny. But we will, of course, need the other side of the barn, or mill. There's a little bit of work to do here, and I'll wrap a few things up in the old mill for this particular episode. So, let's see. Where are we supposed to be? Where's the door for the mill? It's around the other side, isn't it? But yeah, you can find echidnas around your house sometimes if you're near bushland. They're pretty good to have. They will take care of ant infestations and things like that, so they're pretty friendly, all things considered. They can be quite interesting to just observe in action. You might get kangaroos wandering around. I mean, my parents' place is relatively urban. It's just sort of on the edge of town. But it still has kangaroos turning up because there's a bit of bushland nearby. So depending on what you've got, you might find a lot of really interesting animals all over the place, in all honesty. So we've got that shattered, and we'll need Ah, yeah, that's right. We'll probably finish this off for a little bit with a visit to Cranky. Because Cranky will be able to help us out with the potions, just the singular potion anyway, for this level. Is he in this area? Let's see actually where he is. Kind of forgotten. I think I know where he is. He's in a different area, the one we haven't been to. But we might as well open up everything that goes through this way. Clump taking a pot shot at us while I'm busy talking. Enemies will be different at night as well. So you can get a pretty good variety of animals depending on where you are and basically just what you're going to encounter in the end, in all fairness. That's not right. You will encounter different ones based on where you are. For example, you're going to have different ones based on whether you're in more tropical areas, whether you're in sort of the more temperate areas of Australia. But either way, there's always something interesting, and you can usually wind up traveling to find something really neat. If you want to look for it, because it's definitely there. What's that one for? Don't know if that has any express purpose, but probably need Donkey for these. Little bit flustered because unfortunately trying to talk about plants really backfired. Really not very knowledgeable about plants in all fairness. Which is probably why I'll spend a bit of time talking about some of the other more positive things to do with nature a bit later on. We'll grab DK and pick up a few bananas while we're at it. There we are, I was worrying about that. I think we need to... Oh, we need Lanky for that, because this is sort of a focal area for Lanky and Diddy. And a bit for Tiny too, in all fairness. We can try and get that done as best we can, but we will need to go back there during the night. Is this a tag barrel or is this the rocket barrel? Yep, that's the rocket barrel. And I was going to say, speaking of Australia, I always thought that those mushroom helmets, those particular enemies, which are just known as shrooms, I always thought that that looked like Ned Kelly's helmet, which requires a bit of explanation that I'll bring up sort of later on, just after this. We don't want another go on the jetpack game. It's your lucky day, Donkey. Somehow you've played well enough to earn my next potion as well. It's cheap at 5 coins. I'm sure you'll want this one too. The Super Simian Slam. Big Buttus bash him. Are you listening to me, Donkey? You and the rest of the mangy Kongs can now slam the blue switches. Clear off. Don't come back until you're actually better. So, we can now hit the blue switches around, which will come in fairly handy. As you might expect. Let's see what's up here. Just a tag barrel up here, but I will stay with Donkey for the time being, because we have a few bananas to get along the way, and we can do a couple of things back in that mill, which I should get to talking about in due course. Okay, Red 2 here. We ran into a little bit of a problem. I was going to do a few things again because I figured that my commentary was going all over the place because I decided to try and talk about plants for whatever reason, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I actually know nothing about plants. I'm absolutely useless in this regard. And then I found out that when you pick up a gold banana, the game actually kind of auto-saves. So I really didn't... Well, or at least it auto-saves when you wind up quitting out of things. So I didn't really have very much opportunity to do things again. Almost looked like that Zinger froze in midair. Anyway, you might see over there, there is a code 21132. So what we'll do is slam this switch, we'll start pulling some levers and then I'll wrap things up because this one has been a bit ordinary on commentary because I realized I was completely out of my depth. Hope that's not going to hinder me. Alright. And I'm back down to only 50 shot. This doesn't matter. I don't care how many shots. Alright, we didn't hit the bee. The wasp. I don't care. I'm annoyed with it, so I'm calling it a bee on purpose. I'm determined to insult it. We'll have to get homing ammo to take care of those ones. But in a display of admittedly disgraceful... Oh, no. Oh, no, I have to get ammunition for... you know what? Let's just call this the fiasco one and I'll see you next time.